We're going to be speaking about oils today, that part of our diet which actually adds essence and taste to all the foods that we consume. We all will agree that French fries taste better than baked potatoes at any point of time. Well, the jury is undivided about which oil we need to be choosing in cooking, and you'll hear a lot of professionals telling you that olive oil is what you need to be choosing. But is that something that we all need to follow, irrespective of what kind of cooking we are doing and what kind of a population we belong to? Questionable. So let's today look at the Indian context and try to figure out which oil is most suitable for Indian cooking. Indian cooking, you must remember, uses a lot of shallow frying, a lot of deep frying, which means the temperatures that are used, the temperatures that you need to heat the oil up to are very, very high. And therefore, we need to use an oil which will not disintegrate very, very quickly. So let's look at sunflower oil. That was the oil that we used to always use from our grandmothers and great-grandmothers' days. Well, that kind of an oil has a high polyunsaturated fatty acid content. Now, we today know that polyunsaturated fats are responsible for free radical formation, and free radicals are the starting point of most of our diseases. So if we choose polyunsaturated fats, which can be, yes, heated to a very high temperature and is thus suitable for Indian cooking, we also need to make sure that we're eating a lot of antioxidant rich foods in the rest of our diet. That means a lot of salads, a lot of fruits, a lot of fresh vegetables to negate the effects of free radicals that are formed because of this kind of oil. The second kind of oil that many people in North India and East India use, or that we would use in our pickles, is mustard oil. Now, mustard oil is again monounsaturated fat, good for health, because we know the health benefits of monounsaturated fat outscore that of polyunsaturated fat. However, mustard oil has something called erucic acid in it, and erucic acid is toxic to the cardiovascular system. So be very careful when you source your mustard oil to make sure that it doesn't have, it's from a renowned company that has made it. The third kind of oil that we would use is groundnut oil. Now, groundnut oil is a nut oil high in monounsaturated fats, good for the heart because it raises your HDL cholesterol levels, and it's an oil that you can use in Indian cooking because again you can heat it to very high temperatures. The third kind of oil is the next kind, fourth one I think, is your soybean oil. Now, soybean oil is predominantly again polyunsaturated fats, but in the industry they hydrogenate it a little bit so as to convert it into monounsaturated fats, and commercially that's the kind of soybean oil that is being marketed. So this kind of soybean oil, which is relatively higher in monounsaturated fats, is good for health. However, you have to be a little careful because there may be trace amounts of trans fats in it which are not very good for health. Rice bran oil, a relatively new entrant into the market, scores because of the presence of oryzanol, naturally present oryzanol within it. Oryzanol is an antioxidant. Rice bran oil can be heated to a high temperature, and that's why rice bran oil, again, very conducive to Indian cooking conditions. Coconut oil. Coconut oil was first used rampantly in Indian cooking, and then we were told that it has high saturated fat content and we shouldn't be using it, and now we are gone back to believing that it's good for health. Well, coconut oil is saturated fat, which is otherwise not really very healthy for the heart, but you have to look at the type of fat that is present in coconut oil, and it is a medium chain triglyceride. And these medium chain triglycerides actually help to raise your good cholesterol or your HDL cholesterol. So once again, no harm in using coconut oil in cooking. And finally, olive oil. That's the oil we've been taught to very recently actually buy and stock on our kitchen shelves. You must remember that to derive the benefits of olive oil, you need to be using virgin olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. This is the oil that is gained from the first extract of the olives. This is the oil that is antioxidant rich. This is the oil that has a whole lot of vitamins within it. And this oil cannot be heated to a very high temperature. And that's why it cannot be used for frying, whether it's shallow frying or deep frying in Indian households. This oil should be drizzled over your salads or put over any baked dish, but that's the mistake we make. And so what has been an offshoot of it? Pomace oil. But pomace oil, remember, although it can be heated to a high temperature, has no antioxidants. So ultimately, we're not really getting any benefits from that particular olive oil. So if you're using olive oil, do it wisely and just drizzle it over your salads or after you have finished your cooking processes, just to add that extra flavor to your foods. The bottom line, whatever kind of oil you use, you have to be very, very careful with the total quantity of oils that are used in a day. Per person, no more than about 15 grams, that's 1 tablespoon of oil, because remember, the rest of your food that you consume has hidden sources of fat. So just 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of added oil in your cooking. Again, you can cycle your oils. For example, if for this particular month or for the 2 months you are using sunflower oil, shift over to rice bran oil for the next month or 2 months. In that way, you're getting the benefits of each of the oils that have been marketed. So use the oils wisely, decide what kind of cooking you are doing and which oil is best suited for it, and control the total amount of oil that you use in your cooking. Happy eating!